Greetings, welcome to Droppin Gems, Time for Change Tuesdays. I'm so happy to see you all with my brand new spanking computer. Yes, Matt, yes. With the glitter case. Y'all probably can't see it, it's a black glitter case, but it's so cute, y'all. It's definitely giving Time for Change style, okay? So I have talked to you about the actual guts of your accounting. So yeah, y'all already know that I'm going to itemize this, and this is going to be written off. It was overdue. That other glitter case had rubber and everything coming from it. So you need to understand that this is a write-off. Everything is a write-off. So please be encouraged to know that if you need certain things to operate your business and you are of class of me, because you know these people ain't classy at all, but if you are of my class, you're going to want things, you're going to need things. Yes, Mrs. TFC around my neck, I'm her on my neck, my diamonds on my neck, my jewels on my teeth. This is me, my highlights in my hair. Shout out to my stylist. Like, makeup change for time. Like, you need to understand, right? It takes a whole team to get yourself together. And you need to be accounting all of those things. It is so important for you to understand that if you're not utilizing your business account, and we talked about that for those 2 years, you slip it on your game. Because I already told you that a long time ago. You need to know that it's steps and it's levels to this. This is the psychological perspectives of business. It's so that you understand all of this stuff from the outside. Get hip with me. What are you waiting for? We are episode 18. Episode 18. Like, hello, if you don't know all of the information, you can't keep up. And I do know some of my viewers, they've been watching and going back to watch and watching and going back to watch. Special shout out to all of those people. Thank you. And they even holding off not watching my new shows because they got notes that they got to follow through with. You supposed to be doing that. That's what you're supposed to be doing. Now, my ideal way of teaching is not everybody's ideal. The way how I deliver is not everybody's way of delivering. I don't care. You either get it or you don't. This is why I'm here. I wish she could explain that a little bit more. I wish I knew what that meant. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, email me timeforchangeconsults@gmail.com if you have any questions or if you want some elaboration. I might answer you, I might not, and that's okay because I charge. Okay? All right, so let's go. So when we talk about all the accounting and itemized statements, so on my brand new computer, I generated some more stuff, right? So today I want to talk about when you rolling out your organizational stuff. So when you receive an award, right? A lot of people, they'll be like, oh, dang, I got an award, I got a grant, I got this, I got that, I got this. And they immediately start spending and they didn't do what was in show, you know, the show before this one, 17. You didn't do that, right? So you didn't go back, you didn't look, you didn't see. I think we in show 17, we in show 17, 18, I don't even know. But you need to go back and make sure that your accountant, all of those books and everything that I was telling you about, that you say, oh, I was awarded. The first thing you should be looking at is the accounting books. And then how much you wrote for yourself to get paid. Those are the two things. And then say, can I actually pay myself this? Or do I need a little bit more money to pay other people? Right? So you should be, as soon as you are awarded, you should be asking yourself these questions. You should be making sure that you are looking at the accounting books, right? Because that's why I talked about that right after the grants. And contracts, because you should be looking at the accounting books to see what exactly it is that you need to follow. Now, when you meet people in the grant monitor or the grant people, they're going to tell you exactly what, like, here's the grant, this is what the budget is, this is what you need to follow. And even they might have revised it for you. So every time you see dollars and cents, you need to make sure that you're paying attention to it. Now, you've been utilizing your account and all of that stuff, so you're going to assign, you probably have to develop a whole inside portal for where you're going to get the funding. These are things that they're going to tell you. Your bank account need to be ready. That's why, hello, show what? 6? Your bank account and all of that stuff needs to be ready. You need to have all of that stuff ready because you cannot go back to the bank and ask them for a check after you get a grant. Do you know how they're gonna be like, what? And then you gotta get a bank appointment because you can't just walk in the bank and just get a business account. You have to have all of your stuff together so that you're ready to present to them, hey, oh, here's my blank check. Here's my, my information. Making sure that you have it in your name and your ID as well, and you are the sole person. And if you have other people, because you have a nonprofit and other people are on your board, then you need to have their IDs and all of that stuff as well. So that means y'all need to make a group meeting to go to the actual bank. Okay? But you should have did that in show 6. You shouldn't be in show 17 or 18, whatever show we in. You shouldn't be doing that now. Okay? That should have already been in order. So when you have a grant and when you write a grant or you write a contract, you already were submitting organizational charts. Okay? Your organizational chart is going to have all of your agency and what it looked like either prior to applying or thereafter applying. So it's going to be really important for you to see the changes that you committed to and the changes that you're going to make based off of what you already put in your organizational chart for your application, your initial application. Hence, remember when we talked about grant writing, how you move the application into the spaces? If it's 1, 3, 4, 5, then it's 7, 8, 9, 10 over here. These paragraphs are not in order. That's okay, but you need to always keep your grant application, because that's what we talked about. Because once you write it out once, AI can't do that for you. AI can't remove, they can't do that. So you need to understand that they're not going to be able to move it in the correct format for you. You're going to have to talk about your company, talk about your business, just like how I taught you, and then you're going to have to move it around so that you can save it for other things. That is important for you when you get to this point, because just because you wrote grant 1 like grant 2, or grant 2 like grant 1, or grant 5 like grant 7, you need to know exactly what grant went to what award you're getting. They're going to give it to you. But they're going to give you the contract side of it. You need to have the other side. You need to have all of the information that you wrote so that you know exactly what it is that you said that you were going to do, and your organizational charts that you submitted to either support what you have or what you're growing to with the funding that you're receiving. Okay? Yeah, I know, it's a lot of information. Yep. A lot of gems. But it's very important for you to really conceptualize, hey, if I get this award, what is the first thing that I need to do? So, I dropped that gem already, but I'm going to repeat it. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to look at the accounting books. What did you say that you were asking for and how you said you was going to use it? And then the second thing, which is most importantly, is how you're going to pay yourself. How much did you write that you could pay yourself? Because as a CEO or as a board member or as a person who runs the company, every solicitation or every contract that you write, the CEO does not get a grand scheme of lump money. I try to tell people this all the time. You don't get the grant money and it's all for you. You got the grant money because you're writing it for the service. You're writing it for everything that you're going to do. And every single grant, some CEOs will write themselves for 10%. Some CEOs will write themselves for 15%. Some CEOs will write themselves for 20%. But you need to understand what it is that you're going to need, because all of them solicitations is what makes up your salary. Now, let's talk a little bit about scaling, and then I'm going to jump back into my topic. Because if you already know that you want to make $100,000 a year, how many grants do you need to have if you only going to pay yourself 20% out of a grant? Exactly. You need a couple, right? Yeah. So what if you don't have those grants? And you don't have that many. You make less. So the hustle is on for you to make that okay, 6 figures, I need that 20%. I need that 20% every time. Every time I apply, my budget needs to have that as 20%. Now, we could go into all the budgeting and all of the financing of what that is supposed to look like at another time. Because now I'm just talking about how you roll it out. Now, you can ask for consulting and advising of what you think a person, your consultant, will advise you to do. But that costs money. That costs money because that's an appointment. I can't break down to you how much you should pay yourself if I don't know, I didn't do an analysis of your company and your business. All I can do is present to you an overarching Droppin' Gems podcast show to support you because I'm trying to help you, but you have to understand that the nuances of your company now that you have developed amongst this show, the nuances and the things that I don't know are the things that need to be known at this point to get past this point. All right? So it's not that I'm not helping you. Oh, she keeping out information. No! It's that I don't know the information that I need to apply it to the actual budget of what you should be presenting every time you present a solicitation. That takes consulting. So with that said, right? So that is that's why the accounting and the bookkeeping and all of that stuff we talked about last show is so important because you got to figure out how much does it cost to be you? How much does it cost to be the CEO of this company? How much does it cost for all of the things and necessary supplies and equipment and all of the things that you need to be successful? Know this. All I'm here to do is to get you prepared and have gems everywhere. And drop them everywhere so that you could sit and you could realize, okay, this is what I need to do. Now, if you need follow-up, then that's on you. Come get it. But that's on you. All right? So, of course, you see the budget revision. Sometimes they'll give you the budget, like I said, but the budget will be different. Well, you need to scope that out before you sign the document. You need to look and say, oh, wait a minute, what the cut? Oh, I can't handle lights. I can't have occupancy. I can't have this bag. I can't have this computer. I can't have none of this stuff. They said it's just this much. And this is how you're going to use it. This is how you're going to spend it. And then you got to decide, can I still do this? You have to still decide if you can still do this. Now, some CEOs sacrifice their percentages. I'm one of them because I don't do the work for me. I don't go out for me. I don't do it for my glasses. I don't do it for my computer. I don't do it for the shoes. I don't do it for the belts. I don't do it for the bags. I don't do it for the Mercedes. I don't do it for none of that stuff. I do it for the people. I tell my students all the time, every time I'm sitting in there, this is all for y'all. This is all for y'all. So some CEOs are different. You might not be like me. That's okay. You want that for-profit coin. You like, man, I ain't giving back all the time. My blessings come back around. That percentage that I give, that donation that I give, when I say we still going to do this grant, we still going to do this contract, even though they not going to pay for the lights, even though they not going to pay for the water, we still going to do it. And I'm going to ask, hey, can you give me a break on the lease? I'm going to ask, can you give me a break on this? I'm going to ask for that because when I ask for those things, I'm in advocacy mode for the city that I'm in. It's not that I'm asking for those things because I want my percentage to be staying at 20%. No. It's because it's bigger than me. Eradicating crime and homelessness to me is my ordained, destined thing to do. Doing it by being an entrepreneur and educating entrepreneurs who want an entrepreneurship world of doing things, and to also build healthcare workers, because that is a signed, sealed, delivered job that you ain't gotta worry about, because it's gonna be people that don't want to look at dead people. It's gonna be people that don't want to work with old people. So you gotta be prepared for those things. Yeah. So absolutely. So when you see them budget revisions and all of that stuff, just know that that is your opportunity to either take an L or take a gain. Jim. Take an L or take a gain. That's going to be your opportunity. And it's messed up. It's messed up. It really is, because, you know, we take L's. And I say we, like CEOs like me, we take L's all the time. But we also walk by faith, because remember episode 1, it's a whole spiritual journey. We walk by faith, not by sight. So I know the bills will get paid. I know the things will happen. I know that anytime I make a cut, that money is going to come from somewhere. But I'm not here to preach to you. I already told you I'm a spiritual person. You need to know what is your purpose. Remember, we talked about that as well when we talked about the executive summary. You need to write out what is your purpose, because when you know that, when you get that budget revision and you know you got to make a decision, you got to remember what you're doing it for. What you're doing it for. Because you can always, if you're not the CEO that's going to sacrifice, they can give it to somebody else, to the CEO that's going to sacrifice. And that's why they don't care. You either going to take it or leave it. Take it or leave it. And that's what they say all the time. You also got to understand that when you get an award, it's reputational. Especially in Washington, D.C. When time for change, get a contract, time for change, get a grant. Time for change. Oh, time for change got this in DC CFSA. Time for change got this in SYEP. Time for change got this in DOES. Time for change got this in DOH. Time for change got this in whatever. It's buzzing. So when you do it and you take that L for the first time, please believe that once I give you the blueprint, which I already did, and you keep getting grants, you need to understand that it's a buzz in it. So when you take that first L, maybe you don't want to take the second L on the second time or the third time or the fourth time. Maybe you don't want to take that L. That's fine. But that first time, you need to know you building out something that's bigger than you, and that's called the reputation of your work that you already said that you was going to do. You said you was going to do it. And I'm telling you, that's how confident my proposals be. I said I was going to do this. And then this is my data. This is my data. This is what I did. I said I was going to do that, and this is what I did. And then you build that up. That way, no matter what kind of federal grant or regular grants or DC contracts or Virginia contracts or Maryland contracts, wherever you're at in the United States, it doesn't matter, because your data will speak for itself. Your proposal will speak for itself, because you already have done it. So my suggestion to you, and this is a gem, is if you're taking the L on the first time, take the L on the first time. You gotta shake a little, you gotta wiggle a little, you gotta get in there a little, you gotta rub shoulders a little. We talked about that. So don't ignore that, okay? All right. So you always gotta look at, so your reputation going to increase. You always gotta look at, well, why should I change? And that's what I'm talking to you about. That's why you should change. Time for change. Take the L the first time so that you can do what you need to do. It's not all about you getting money. Now, for the people who are other things like plumbers, carpenters, electricians, barbers, anything like that, when you have your NAICS code and you apply for those contracts and you asking for that for-profit money, yeah, you asking for that for-profit money for your service, and that's it and that's all. You're not doing the same thing like a nonprofit CEO who takes L's and who recovers and who walk by faith, not by sight. It's not the same. You are using your skill and your talent, even when you do hair, even when you cut hair, even when you sweep a floor. Your service is, I swept the floor is done, this is the cost, I need my money. When you are a nonprofit business owner and you're on a board and all that stuff, no, it is called dedication, work, rendering L's so that you could gain later on. Gain more proposals. All right? Now, you always have to look at your hiring practices. Okay? Your hiring practices is going to be very important for you to, if you already said that you had a vacancy and you didn't have anybody there, you need to be paying attention to that. As we get more into the shows, I'm going to be talking to you about leadership stuff, because you have to exude leadership. You have to be who they want you to see, who you want to see. You have to be that person. All right? You have to have things in place, HR wise, to say, what is my personnel chart going to look like? We're going to talk a little bit about that too. Like, what is it going to look like? What does everybody have to have? That is what is going to be listed on your contract or your grant or anything that you get. So you have to be mindful of that as well. This is giving you the opportunity, any funding opportunity is giving you the opportunity to implement practice, operational procedures, implement what you need to have. Don't get it twisted. You really gonna have to sit there and say, what is my employee handbook and what does it look like and what do I need my employees to have? My employee handbook was like this big when I first started Time Change, like real small. Now I got policy here, policy there, policy here, policy there, policy there. I'd be like, I'll get to you, because it takes time. It's not like a one-day thing. So making sure that you make a financial strategy, right? When you do got to take an L or when you do got to take a gain. All right? Making sure that the staff and the current staff that you have, that you're in communication mode. So all of the monthly, like if you're meeting with your staff, and this is for people who might only have one other person that they work with. You have one other person that you work with, and you got to sit down and have that meeting with them. You got to say, hey, we got to have a strategic meeting. This is what my grant awarded us. How much work can you do out of it? What does it look like for you to do some work? What days can you work? Okay, these are the days that I could work. My first contract was small. It was me and one other person going shelter to shelter, and we visit 4 shelters. I put them joints in rotation on a week. And it was me and one other person, and I said, this is what we gonna do. I mean, is you ready to hustle or not? Because I'm confused. Because I got outside. I hit the ground running. Because that was part of my job, to go into shelters and do that. And then the other part was building out the contracts for me to have my psychotherapy department. And then the other part, and then the other part, and then the other part. You know, I had people dig to see if they gonna hit all diamonds or gold. It's gems here. It's gems here. We do everything right here. Yeah, everything right. All right. So I want to make sure that I reflect on what you're supposed to take away from me. Okay. Because I want to make sure that you actually know, right, that when you get this award, you need to look at the budget. And that's why I was talking about the bookkeeping and the accounting. You need to look at it, and you need to know if you're going to take a gain or a loss, right? You need to understand if you're going to be paying yourself and what you're going to be paying yourself, and what is the capacity of the work that you could do. You need to start looking at your hiring procedures and looking through the grant to see exactly what it is that they want your staff to have, and make procedures and policies as it relates to it. You want to make sure that you hire good people, and we're going to be talking about that as shows go on, in leadership of what you need to exude so that people can present the same way how you want them to present. People will take your business serious if you take your business serious. I don't know no person that worked for me in Time for Change that don't take my business seriously. And if I did, or if I do, or if I ever found that out, they're gone. So you have to be at the top, looking down, and that's if your grant is that big. So just think of a pyramid. If your grant is a large grant, you're going to have more people that's going to be working under you. You're going to be looking taller, right? You're going to be over them. If your grant is small and you got something that's like a $10,000 grant that just help you with supplies and this and that, then it doesn't result in no oversight. Just you looking at the budget, the stuff that I just told you about. So you got to understand all of the different funding things and start paying attention to the things that you need, right? I talked about that last show. Start paying attention to the things that you need as a CEO. Start thinking about the percentages. Start thinking about how much you want to make a year, because then you know how many grants and solicitations that you need to have, or contracts. You know exactly how much a for-profit, that's for non-profit, and if it's a for-profit, you know exactly how much it's going to charge, how you're going to charge to sweep that floor. If it takes you this amount of minutes, you want this amount of money. It's a little bit easier. Non-profits, you walking by spiritual faith, not by sight. You're giving unto others. And if you ain't ready for that journey, please go do for-profit. I do for-profit now because I'm still helping, but I'm helping in a different way. It's not because I wasn't passionate about giving back or doing the things. And even in my for-profit, I'm sitting here before you, still helping you. Every Tuesday, dropping gems. Every other Tuesday, dropping gems at 6 p.m. This is not for me. This is for you. Even though my presentation is all about me, my presentation is a God's gift to give to you. I care about my appearance so much so that I can sit before you and give you the education that you need. You either going to take it or you're going to leave it. I would like to thank you for coming to Droppin' Gems Tuesday. Yes, at 6 p.m. every other Tuesday. Please follow me, subscribe, like, at Time for Change Consult. You could go take a look at my nonprofit, Time for Change, TFC, on IG. Know me. Know us. Become a serious change agent. Because if you're not ready, stop watching. Have a good one.